My mom always had a pretty big garden. I remember my grandfather coming over and rototilling up the garden, and my mom would plant grapes and berries and corn and beans and just about any vegetable you could think of.
Well, my grandmother always had a big garden. She had like an acre of all kinds of veggies, and we'd go through the garden and pick what we want. I didn't grow a garden myself until about 40 years ago. My father bought 40 acres north of Spokane, and he plowed under an acre of it, and we had a garden about as big as my grandmother's. We planted everything, corn, just rows and rows of stuff. We always had a big garden every year, enough to put away, stuff in the freezer and stuff. That was some of my happiest memories.
She always had berries and things like that we could pick and eat, and there were raspberries or blackberries or strawberries there. For the most part, fruits are on a tree. It's a little different when it comes to picking them and caring for them. Fruits are usually a lot bigger plant than the vegetables are, although that's not always the case. Tomatoes can be small plants and they're a fruit. Vegetables are more of a single season, where fruits are plants that go on for year after year after year, and the older they get, the more they produce. You grow your corn once and then you have to grow it again the next year, whether it's a single or multi-year endeavor.
Preserving is something that was taught to me by my grandmother. You have to preserve the food where the food is fresh and preserve its goodness. It's kind of a lost art because people can conveniently go to a grocery store and pick things up. But I think that's kind of sad because it's important to preserve and can dry things.
You can dehydrate, which is good for a lot of different things. You can freeze. Some things freeze better than others. Certain fruits don't freeze very well. Most vegetables freeze pretty good. You can vacuum pack. That will preserve some things. You can can. That uses heat.
You have to depend on your own yard. Having knowledge of knowing how to grow and preserve canned foods, you'd be invaluable. And it's been 150 years since people had to live that way, and people are forgetting.
Every so often there's a major disaster you'll read about or see on the news, and people go hungry. And if you know how to get food for yourself or grow food for yourself when it's otherwise not available, that's a big thing. It doesn't take that much effort. It's a practical thing to do. If you want to have a chance to do something that's fulfilling, where in a very short time you can actually benefit from your labor, growing food is very satisfying.